Alright people, so this is our next step on our optical illusions. This is where we're actually starting the illusion process. So what you're going to do is, anywhere on your paper, you're going to be putting a vanishing point. And remember, a vanishing point is where everything and all of your lines are going to converge and meet back together, and all of those parentheses that you're going to make are going to vanish into that one point. So it can be anywhere on your paper, it doesn't have to be in the middle. I'm going to go right here. You're just going to make a tiny little dot. So if you notice, I just made a tiny dot. The smaller the better, because you're going to have a lot of lines going to that point, and it's going to get big eventually. So then you're going to take your ruler, you're going to put it to that, and you're going to make lines coming off of that. And they don't have to be the same length, but you want them to fill up your paper. They don't have to be the same width apart either. So it can be smaller, skinnier, longer, shorter, anything like that. And the more you vary your lines and the length, the more, and the thickness, the more interesting your optical illusion is going to become. The most important thing, though, is that you have even numbers of lines. And it has to be even because this is going to become a pattern. And so for your pattern to actually work and repeat itself, it has to be even. So what I'm going to do is, now I made my lines, I'm going to put my finger on one, and I'm going to count that as one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I was lucky that time because I actually have an even number. But you have to have an even number of lines. No questions asked. You also need to have at least 10 lines. I had 12, at least 10 lines. So then what you're going to do is you're going to start to add your parentheses. So I'm going to zoom in here so you guys can see a little bit better of what I'm doing. I'm going to refocus. So what you're going to do is you're going to start to draw your parentheses. And remember, we've talked about how when it's closer to the vanishing point, they're smaller. And then I'm going to get a little bit bigger. And notice I'm leaving a pretty big gap in here, because that gap is going to be where you don't have to color. Just inside of these smaller parentheses are going to be where you're going to have to add all of your values from your gradient scale. So I'm going to get a little bit bigger. And notice that I'm keeping a nice deep curve in my parentheses. That's going to really help with my illusion. Deep curve going all the way to the edge. Skipping. Deep curve, making it a little bit bigger. Deep curve, a little bit bigger because it's getting further out. Now, if I look right here, I have these two ends, and I don't know if I can fit another one in here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to fit one more, and then I can actually extend these lines out a little bit further so they can help me out, or I could just erase up until this section. Either one is fine. So notice each one of my parentheses, it's bigger, a little bit smaller, until it's finally even smaller. So then what you're going to do for the next set is you're going to offset them a little bit, because whenever you're wearing stripes and the fabric folds, they don't line up correctly anymore. So to make sure that optical illusion really looks like, so this one looks like an optical illusion, they have to be offset from each other. So what I mean by this is these were going this way, and so you have to go the opposite way now. And you see how instead of lining them up directly next to each other, you have to offset it a little bit. Offset it. Keeping nice deep curves. And if you mess up, it's okay. You can take an eraser to it, not a big deal. Now, this one ends, but this one still keeps going. So I'm actually going to go to the shortest one. So I'm going to go here and down to there. And then I can actually extend that out. So that's how that one goes. And then next, I'm going to go the opposite. And I'm actually, if these were right next to each other, it would be the same height. So I have to go back down again. Remember to keep nice, deep curves. So if that one were here, there, nice deep curves. It's really easy to start making your lines straight. Make sure you're getting nice deep curves in your parentheses, and this one's going to be my last one. So to go slightly off my paper, right there. And so you'd keep doing this back and forth all the way across. Do not go around in a circle, otherwise it's going to make a spiraling shape instead of making an illusion, and you're going to be upset with your end product. So making sure you keep your nice deep curves. Go to the end of your shortest one, go back down to the middle, and keep going. So once you have made these all the way around your entire paper, you're going to come back and you are going to start to add the value into your parentheses. Remember, these things are what I'm calling parentheses. All the way there. Okay, so if we were ready and it was time for your ebony pencil, you'd get it, and even in the smallest one, you want to go through all of your values, and you can sharpen these pencils and you can erase them. So I'm going to go from the side, dark, medium, light. Show you that again. So I outline my edge, and then I go across so that I really cover up that whole area. Dark, medium, light, medium, dark. You're going to keep going all the way up. So I outline that edge, dark, a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter, even lighter in the middle. Then you get in a little bit darker, a little bit darker, till finally it's as dark as it can go. So you're going to go through this and do it on all of them. I want to show you a bigger one, just so you have a better idea of what's actually happening in these little sections. Also, I want you to not write your name on it, so that in case you have to flip it over and restart, you can. So I will show you how to do a big one in just 1 second.